Yes, lads, in today's video, I'm going to be looking at whether or not I've benefited from this transfer window on Sorare. Hope you enjoy the video. Leave a like if you do. And if you are new to my channel, please do consider subscribing. So the transfer deadline for Europe is tomorrow. I'm filming this video on Thursday. Friday is the deadline. And I just wanted to look back really at how my gallery has been affected from this transfer window. We've seen the effects of Saudi and how that can have a detrimental impact on, players as far as, you owning them in your gallery and stuff. I've been really lucky personally, having a very, under 23 dense gallery. Not many young players have gone over to Saudi or Dubai or anywhere, in the Middle East. I think, Gabri Vega's one of them that stands out. I did have one player, actually, Isaac Lahaji, who I've ended up getting rid of. But, he went to Dubai, I believe. He's the only card, I believe, in my gallery that, had that dreaded move over to the Middle East. And you're probably watching this and you've had, God knows more than I have. I imagine if you've, not just got an under 23 gallery, because it's been hard to avoid. The bombshells of, player after player moving to Saudi has been, an interesting sort of dynamic, I guess, on Sorare. That's another topic in itself, I guess. I just wanted to go through, the players that, I have in my gallery right now, how they've been affected by this transfer window. Have they had positive transfers? Have they had negative transfers? And how that's going to sort of transpire for this season. But there's 17 players in my gallery right now that have either had moves since I've bought them, or I've seen the announcement that they're going to potentially get a move, and then I've brought them into the gallery. So, there's some older cards in here, like we've got Toblason on the screen right now, and there's some newer ones as well, which we'll get into. So, Toblason, the first player we're going to talk about, has got his move to Leuven, however you pronounce it, in the Belgium league. He stayed in, the same league, so he's moved from Genk. As you can see, I have his one of his original cards. He's one of the oldest cards in my gallery. I bought him on auction over 2 years ago. I beat the main man John Nellis in the auction to win this Toblason 4 of 10. As far as the move goes for him, he's gone there to be, second fiddle basically. He hasn't gone there to be number one, although he has the number one jersey. He's been given the number one shirt there, which is interesting. So maybe they see him as the future number one, maybe after this season, maybe, midway through this season, who knows. Didn't start on the weekend, he only has just moved. But he has, eligibility for under 23s until 2026, I believe. So you could argue that this is probably a good move as far as being a Toblason or like a long-term Toblason holder, because at Genk you've got Van der Voort there right now. They've signed Van Kromberg, or however you pronounce it, from Anderlecht. So he's the number 2 right now. When Van der Voort leaves to Leipzig, Van Kromberg will be number 1. So I think the path to number 1, for Toblason is easier at Leuven than it is at Genk. So, that's definitely, one positive move to start things off. Next in the gallery is Yuito Suzuki, who's got a move to Brøndby in the Danish league. He was on loan to Strasbourg last year. I've held him for a long time. Over a year ago. Paid 0.225, which was £630 at the time. Decent amount of money for somebody that, has a graph that looks like this. This was his graph, whilst he was playing in the J League for Shimizu. A couple of decent peaks, but, not really too much to kind of look at. But, he was young at the time. I think he was 19, just breaking through into the side. So I'm hoping there's big things to come from him and Brøndby this season. Next up is a player that I'm hoping gets a move before this transfer window is up. But we're leaving it very late, and that's Thomas Suslov. Groningen got relegated from the Eredivisie, so he's Red X right now. He's ineligible. In the international break, he will play for his national team, so he does have utility in that sense. But right now, he isn't playing for a licensed club. I've seen rumours of Turkey, which I would very much welcome for him. Anywhere that's covered would be definitely a plus. But right now, he's just deadwood in the gallery, and we need to revive him. This is probably the most exciting move as far as my gallery is concerned this transfer window. It only happened last week, I believe. Andrew Moran, who is a Brighton player, as you can see by the card. I've got the 1 of 10. When did I buy him? 7 months ago for £412, just as the Premier League was launched on Sorare. And he's been sort of just not rotten in my gallery, but just slowly maturing in my gallery to where, I kind of had a good idea that he probably isn't ready to play first team football for Brighton yet, although he has made a Premier League appearance. I think, it was against Everton last season. But as you can see, he has moved. Well, you can't really see from this, but he's moved to the Championship. And he's playing for Blackburn. He got an assist last night in the EFL Cup, I believe. He did take corners, which I'm really, really excited about. But, you know, it was probably a second string team. So who knows if he's going to start going forward. But he did well against Watford. He got like a 10 AA, you know, coming off the bench in that first game for him on the weekend. And then played cup midweek. So I'm really, really excited about Moran. Next, we've got Bart Verbruggen, who's obviously moved to Brighton in the Premier League. And yeah, De Zerbi, you know, start of the season said, you know, both goalies, him and Steele, are going to get 50-50 games. And yeah, this is probably one of the negative sort of moves that have happened to one of my cards, I guess, in the gallery. Just as far as, you know, the scores that you were getting from him at Anderlecht over the last sort of 6 months. Have a look at that, lads. Like, look at the peaks. It's just incredible, right? Would have loved for him to stay at Anderlecht a little bit longer, but it wasn't to be, you know, he's too good. He's too valuable of a prospect to Anderlecht. And yeah, they had to send him on, obviously, to a bigger club. Brighton was that club, and it's just unfortunate that it's going to be tough as an SO5 player to kind of know when Verbruggen's going to start. Steele started the first 2 games, as you can see here. He DMP'd in first 2 games, and then he played against West Ham in the 3rd game. So yeah, who knows who's going to start the next game. He conceded 3 goals. None of them were really his fault, if I'm being honest. I watched the game. But regardless, you know, it's just not a nice situation to be in. You want certainty on Sorare. You want to know, you know, your player's like 90% going to start. But with Bart Verbruggen right now, it's a 50-50 coin toss, and that's not a nice position to be in. So, you know, he's young enough to where I'm just going to hold him until he does become that, you know, Brighton number 1 and become established. But right now, it's a bit of a sticky situation. Next up is Armel Bella-Kotchap, who hopefully moves on loan to Dortmund from Southampton. He's fit now. He was on the bench on the weekend. He hasn't played in the Championship yet. He was struggling for fitness. There was rumours of Bayern Munich. There was rumours of Monaco. There's still rumours of Dortmund. It looked last night that it was like all done with Dortmund, but now Dortmund don't want to pay the £8 million or euro loan fee. So who knows what happens with Armel Bella-Kotchap. It would have been great for him to stay at Southampton, or would be great for him to stay at Southampton, because I do have a Gavin Bazunu goalkeeper, so a little defensive stack there. So yeah, who knows what happens with him. Another one that I'm super excited for is Sam Greenwood's move, or loan move, from Leeds in the Championship to Middlesbrough in the Championship. Yesterday it was announced on Leeds Twitter that Sam Greenwood has moved to Middlesbrough, and I'm praying that he can get some really decent minutes. I bought him 5 months ago. Never really been able to use him. I paid £102 for him, which is actually pretty cheap for, you know, a super rare under 23 forward that has, you know, his qualities in that sense. He's very good off set pieces. He scored an 81 in the Premier League. I know there's not much else to show for that beyond it, but, you know, he's somebody that kind of suits the Matrix in that sense. If he can nail down a starting position, especially in the Championship, I think he could be a really nice addition to my SO5 roster. Next up, we've got Brennan Johnson. I've held this card for a little while. How long has it been? 4 months. £81 I paid for the rare card. He's up to like 120 odd pounds right now, because the rumour is he's gonna move to Spurs. It's not definite, but the fact that Ansu Fati has moved to Brighton, which is absolutely mind-blowing to me, but regardless, he's gone to Brighton. He was kind of rumoured to go to Spurs. I still think the Brennan to Spurs is going to happen. The £100 million war chest has to be used. And I think, yeah, Brennan Johnson, they've rumoured 50 million is kind of the fee. I think he'd be a great addition there. And to be honest, lads, I've doubled down on this one. I've ended up buying a super rare version as well. I'm all in on Brennan. Obviously, you know, I'm a massive Welsh fan. So, you know, having Brennan super rare and rare helps me for international sort of breaks as well, and so rare. But not only that, I think he'd be great at Tottenham if he does go. If he doesn't go and he goes to Brentford or even stays at Forest, you know, it's not the worst card in the world. It's not an amazing card, as you can see by his, you know, his sort of previous scores. There's peaks in his game, but, you know, playing for, you know, Nottingham Forest in the Premier League, you're never going to score every game. You're never going to, you know, hit really good AA scores. You're just not on the ball enough, you know. Yeah, it's interesting to see. I hope he does move to Spurs, because I think that would be an amazing move for him SO5 wise. He could play off the left, he could play off the right, he could play down the middle. He's very versatile, so fast, and I think he could cause a lot of problems. Next up is Gaston Villa, player that I won. So this is probably the only card so far that was a trophy. You know, I didn't pay for the card, it was a reward. You know, one of the best sort of outcomes really is, I've moaned for a little while that I'm struggling for under 23 rare defenders, or, you know, elite ones. But Gaston Villa's moved to Ajax, lads. has to become, I think, their #1 left back. Absolutely buzzing to see him in an Ajax kit, to be honest. His scores for Antwerp were really, really good. Some insane peaks from him. Ajax have seemed to have strengthened really, really well, actually, over the last couple of weeks. So interested to see how he fits into that side. Next up, we've got a cheeky little one. This is probably the cheapest card on this list. And it's Ryan Howley, who is still a Coventry player. I paid £17 for his rare card. I'll be honest, I kind of only bought him because I know his name from like the under-21 setup in Wales. He's only, I think he's 19 right now. Played a few times for Coventry, but not enough to where, you know, he's a first-team regular. And he's gone on loan to Dundee in the Scottish Premiership, who are covered on Sorare. So I'm hoping that he can get some decent minutes there. He's an interesting number 10, very big, quite imposing figure, but good technically as well. So I'm interested to see if he'll get any minutes over there. But, you know, he's not somebody that I'm going to be counting on SO5-wise, but regardless, he's still a positive transfer in my eyes. Next up is my favourite player of all time, Aaron Ramsey. I bought the Jersey Mint Juventus card, the 8 of 100. When did I buy this? 3 months ago. I think I bought it for an international break, to be fair. This was before he'd moved back to Cardiff, which was the club he started at. He's played the first 4 games for Cardiff. He's got a goal in one of them against Leicester. It was an absolute worldy goal as well. I watched him live against Sheffield Wednesday this past weekend. We won 2-1. He got a 16 AA, no decisive, but did look really, really decent. Yeah, there's still room for his sort of SO5 game to grow, I think, at Cardiff. Obviously, at the latter stages of his career, but somebody that, you know, I love as a Cardiff boy, and, you know, growing up watching Ramsey and how his sort of career is planned out has been, you know, a bit of a blessing in that sense. You know, somebody that's sort of from my neck of the woods and stuff, and yeah, just a player that I really rate, and I'm just glad to say that I have his jersey mint on Sorare, and he's playing for Cardiff again. Next is Harvey White. There's hardly any mint of this fella, I don't think. I bought him 2 months ago for £49.06. How many mints do we have on Sorare? I think it's very limited, lads. Like, okay, so there's 11 rare cards, 1 super rare. You can buy him for £35 right now, to be fair, which is pretty cheap. But the rumour is that he is going to leave Tottenham on loan or maybe not even on loan, maybe on a permanent before the end of this transfer window. Another player similar to sort of Sam Greenwood, you know, he can play a lot deeper as Harvey White. He's more of a, you know, a defensive player, defensive mid, centre mid / he can even play left back, actually. But a player I really rate, has a lovely left foot, very capable of taking set pieces. I just really hope he lands in a covered league, preferably the Championship. We'll see how that plans out. And yeah, if it doesn't happen this transfer window and he rots in Tottenham's under-23s for another year, so be it. Not ideal, but, you know, it happens. Next, we've got Arsene Zakarian, who's recently moved to Real Sociedad in La Liga. So I bought him 2 months ago for 0.2 ETH. He's recently traded for 0.15, so I've probably, you know, if I wanted to sell him right now, I'd probably lose a little bit on him. But I bought him because there was loads of rumours, to be honest, where Arsene was going to land as far as, you know, being transferred from Dynamo. Ajax were one of the rumours, Feyenoord, PSV. I think he was linked with every Eredivisie team, to be honest, especially the top ones. And, you know, with somebody that can score as good as he can at the age he's at, I thought, you know, I need to take the risk on this one. If he lands at Ajax, if he lands at PSV in a starting spot, there's scope for him to be one of the most elite under-23 midfielders. So I had to take the risk on him. He's landed in Real Sociedad, which, you know, probably isn't the best of moves as far as SO5 goes. It's not terrible. He came off the bench on the weekend against Las Palmas. Be interesting to see how he's integrated into this side. They have some really good attacking midfielders. You got Kubo, Bryce Mendes, some really decent midfielders over there in Sociedad. So it'd be interesting to see how he gets on there, but I'm going to keep him. I'm going to see how it all plans out for him this season. So right now, I'd argue this one's probably a negative move because of the expectations I had. All in all, it's not a terrible move, is it? Next up is Kamaldeen Sulemana, who I actually won as a reward over a month ago. So of course, I didn't pay for him. A really tricky winger, you know, very explosive, Ghanaian international. He is rumoured to leave Southampton to go to Everton, which probably isn't the best move in the world, but it's better than not playing at all, obviously. If he stays at Southampton, I think he could be an absolute god in the Championship, to be honest, with his pace, with his ability to score goals and assist from wide. I think he could be an amazing SO5 player. I'm not too hopeful that that's going to happen before this window shuts. I think he will move, to be honest, but where? Who knows? Callum Doyle's loan move to Leicester City from Manchester City. I think it was a £500,000 loan move for the year. He played for Coventry last year in the Championship, so, you know, he knows the league very well. He's with Leicester in the Championship right now. And he started off the season pretty well. 36, 80, 44, 89. Some nice peaks. You're not going to get 80s every game off any card. But the fact that he's got it twice in sort of 4 games is really encouraging. He did get an assist actually this weekend. So that kind of explains the peakiness of that 89. But I think this 80 was just raw AA, to be honest. Yeah, it was. All-round score 45. So yeah, a really, really highly rated left centre back, left back hybrid player. Probably the best way to describe him. But I really, really like the look of him. What did I pay? 0.575 for the super rare, which isn't bad considering I think the rare card is at like 3 rare cards on sale. 0.22 is the floor right now, and I paid 0.6 roughly for the super rare, so pretty decent. Yeah, one sold on the 24th of August for just under 0.2, so I've probably done pretty well there. I bought the card just before the Leicester move was confirmed. The rumors were kind of there. It was probably 3 or 4 days before it was actually officially announced. So yeah, I guess the price I paid was kind of factored in to the move. But I think, you know, the fact that he's scored this well in the opening sort of couple of games has arguably saw his price rise again if I was to sell him, I think. But, you know, it's all subject. It's all down to how much somebody's willing to pay for the card, of course. A good move nonetheless. We've spoken about the Brennan Super Rare, which I'm buzzing about. And the most recent purchase I made, which was 20 hours ago, was Francisco Coensao, who is rumoured to go back to Porto and reunite with his father, the manager. Because apparently he's not enjoying his time at Ajax when he moved. I think it was at the beginning of last season, I believe. Hasn't really done too much. Quite a few substitute appearances, a couple of decisives in there, but nothing crazy for the Portuguese forward. And yeah, I think going back to Porto would be great for his SO5 as long as he could play, of course. Might be tough to, you know, start straight away. But when your dad's the coach, anything's possible, obviously. And I paid, what did I pay for him? £129. I think one sold, yeah, a couple sold for just above that, £161 10 hours ago, 134 19 hours ago. So people are hyped to see if this move does go through. It's not official yet. None of this is official, but that is the rumor right now on him. Lads, I'm interested to see how this transfer window has affected you guys, whether that's positively or negatively. Let me know in the comment section. It's probably been the best time ever to have an under 23 gallery on Sorare, you know, this transfer window because of those Saudi and Dubai and, you know, Middle Eastern moves. So I've been pretty lucky in that sense, but let me know how you've got on yourselves. Is there any players that stand out for you that you've hit the jackpot on, or any that have turned out to be unsuccessful? Hope you enjoyed the video. Leave a like if you did. Hope you have a great day. Hope you have a great game week, and I shall see you guys in the next video.